Councillor Castro, do you want to take your seat? Thank you. Okay. Welcome back to Water, Waste and Energy. Restarting the meeting at 1:43. Now, everybody's here, so there's no apologies, no leave of absence. Can I have someone move the confirmation of minutes for the last meeting, please? Councillor McDonald, and seconded by Councillor Tozer. All those in favour? That's carried. We do have a starred item, if someone like to, that's our committee action list and forward planning schedule. If someone would like to move and second that, we can take that off the agenda. That's Councillor Tozer and Councillor Castro. All those in favour? That's carried. The rest of our items, I'd just like to change the format a little bit. We do have a closed session, a couple of closed session presentations, and I'd like to go to 7.2 first. So, because we do have some presenters here who will have to leave. So, now is this for commercial in confidence? Director, yes. So, Councillor McDonald, like procedural motion into close and seconded by myself. All those in favour and going to close? That's carried. We might just quickly move 7.1 and 7.2. Yes, 7.1, Councillor Tozer, seconded by Councillor Young. All those in favour?
Super exciting, right?
That's carried.
Slightly.
Yep.
Would have loved
Would be great to
but
be
you
an
know
open.
what? Good.
Good. Good news story.
Oh, you're writing. I'm so sorry, mate. I'm just channeling Councillor Paul Taylor.
I was just going to say, you're doing a Paul impression.
And 7.2, we were just noting noting the presentation, but also including it in the minutes. So Councillor Tozer, Councillor Young, the A team.
Super excited about that one as well.
Exactly. Critical infrastructure is critical. All those in favour? That's
Can't say anything
carried.
about it.
Thank
Secret.
you. Okay, Josh, you're going to give us a presentation on public place recycling. This has really got me. No?
Sorry, Councillor, we'll do the food recycling.
Oh, you're going to do the food. Oh, you're going to do the food recycling. Okay.
Yep.
So we're nearly there. Hamill?
We don't
Talking about
specifically
food
have a presentation for this, but hopefully the paper is quite self-explanatory. That the team has always done a great job, and we've been fortunate enough to get some money out of DES to conduct a food recycling trial in multi-unit dwellings, which will, we hope, build upon our commercial food waste trial that we've had in place for a number of years. And obviously, based on the trial, we'll clearly come back to, again, committee and council and suggest next steps. But clearly we would hope that this expands the opportunity for clearly diverting food waste from customers that have a high quantity of food waste in a separate service. That food waste from commercial customers is currently taken and reprocessed in the city up in our Stapleton area again. You know, that's a great news story for us, and there's opportunity to do more of that. So again, you know, fairly straightforward story, and I think something that we've often talked here. Our multi-unit dwellings are a challenge in terms of waste management. We've got a lot of legacy issues in achieving improved recycling or diversion from those. So I think this is, you know, a great first step to see if we can, you know, have an impact in those facilities. We've got fairly good strategies for our residential customers, and we're just talking about building upon that. But from my perspective, very excited that we're starting to do something in these multi-unit dwellings. But anything else, Josh, you'd like to add?
Through you, Madam Chair. So we'll be targeting 7 buildings, so between Broadbeach and Main Beach. So we just want to work in the area where we've currently got our commercial food organics service. So the trial will run from March to September, at which point we'll make a decision about expanding the service further or determining that it's not viable to continue.
Josh, are they just going to be residential, not holiday, residential?
Just residential.
Holiday? Yeah. Because the other two could be difficult.
Yes. So we are working with other council areas who are doing trials and other multi-unit dwelling types just to share learnings, see what works, what doesn't.
Any questions, councillors? Councillor Young?
So this is not another bin, this is the green organics bin?
Through the chair, this will be a food organics bin in a multi-unit residential building. So yeah, we'll just be in the high density areas on the coastal strip.
So it's a lilac, lidded lilac?
Yeah.
Or maroon lilac.
Lilac and maroon are very different.
Yeah.
Who's in charge of colour?
Obviously not me, but that's
It's a pinky purple.
that's the standard
Provided
bin.
bags or?
Kathy, is that you? Are you in charge of colour?
It's a maroon.
Yes, they will have caddies and containers, bags for dealing with it. And that's part of the trial, and that was part of the stipulation, if I'm correct, from DES, that they would like to see us trial that and you know, customers' behaviours with respect to that.
Okay. So the education is really critical. That article I sent you the other day about the amount of contamination of these recycling schemes is really depressingly high and renders them uneconomic and unviable. And obviously food is easily contaminated. So in this case, we've got bags for the food, but the green organics, there's no bags. And ultimately that sort of stuff gets confusing for people, and we've really got to drive these messages, key messages home. And so what about the outcomes of this? Like, we've got the collection and then you do the processing. Is there, I didn't see anything about the outcome in terms of the product that's generated from all of this.
In terms of end markets
Yeah.
for use, through the chair, we'll have to discuss with Phoenix about what their current end markets are at the moment and see what we can share.
Phoenix is the company that creates
Phoenix,
the
yes,
Doing the mulch.
they're the
mulch, the bag
composters up at Yatala.
But just remind Council, we're also looking at other options. Clearly, and we've talked about a lot, collections is only half the challenge. It is the processing at the end and the markets. We're exploring the opportunities to take pure food waste to anaerobic digestion and combine it in our treatment plants, particularly at Coombabah in the first instance. So that's another end, and then that gets digested, converted into energy, helps run the sewage treatment plant. You get 3 times more energy from digesting food waste than you do from digesting sludge. So that would be a massive bonus. The other thing that we are investigating currently with UQ is the manufacture of bioplastics using food waste and or sugarcane. We commenced that quite a while ago. Results are still positive, and we hope to probably have an update on the progress of that research potentially before the end of this year.
But that biofilm is available commercially now. You can buy that stuff.
It's made from cornstarch mostly, or bamboo. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, but again, we saw an opportunity with food waste, right. and obviously the city has a large sugar industry in northern New South Wales. Most cornstarch comes from the US or down south. So again, it was about what's the opportunity to create a local market and manufacturing and industry.
Thank you. Thanks, Chair.
Any other questions, councillors? Good luck, Josh.
Thank you.
We'll see how it goes. Yes, thank you. We're just noting the contents of the report virtually, and we'll have another report back December. Yep. Councillor Tozer proposed it, seconded by Councillor Young. All those in favour? That's carried. Thank you. And we've got one more item, 6.2, public place recycling updates. We've got an update?
Also, welcome Christy. Christy is obviously within our waste and team. We've turned her from the dark side of corporate comms to actually do something useful.
That'll get back. That will get back.
No. So obviously we'll let Christy take us through the presentation of some great work and movement forward in this.
Thank you. So just following up on an item that we brought to you previously around the expansion. The resolution from that was that we were to return to you with an update as to what that now looks like and ideas for what next steps would be towards a citywide expansion of public place recycling. So what we've achieved in phase 1 and 2 of the project is we now have a total of 84 new recycling bins, which now connect Point Danger up to Broadbeach along the coastline. The bins are currently serviced by City Cleaning, and they're now a part of our ongoing service for public place. The learnings from the trial that we did conduct showed that some of the barriers to change and utilisation for customers were inconsistent signage and enclosure types, which isn't just a problem which plagues us, it's statewide, unfortunately. What we've got in progress on this project at the moment is the standardisation of proposed signage and enclosure types. So trying to move forward across the Gold Coast with one look and feel for customers so that they know how to use all of our public place bins properly. We're also in discussions with Containers for Change or COEX at the moment. They've designed a product which can be co-located with public place bins to capture eligible containers. This is to address the item that, Madam Chair, you raised at the last committee around bins being accessed by members of the public using a skeleton type key in order to take out the CRS containers and then get the refund themselves. We are just currently undergoing a risk assessment to see what the implications would be of taking carriage of those products. We're also looking into the events and markets space and working with major events as to what it would look like for some sort of regulation or policy solution towards the fact that there is no current standardisation for the events management, waste management plans that enforces the requirement for things like glass, recycling or food at events. And as per the last committee and council meeting, we are in the process of launching the Plastic Free Places program, which is state government funded for 3 years and works with hospitality and tourism industry to transition them away from plastic materials or single-use plastics, Some of the considerations when we looked at what it would look like to get us to citywide public place recycling were the fact that we have some opportunities in our understanding of our public place bins. So we don't have current data on the utilisation of those assets, so which ones of the park bins or the coast adjacent bins actually have high usage from customers. So to pair them with a recycling bin at this time just wouldn't be cost effective. Also, the condition and location of some of those assets can impact whether or not it would be appropriate to do a service trial expansion there. Just acknowledging that the corporate restructure and the new collections contract with JJ's will provide us with new opportunities when it comes to an increase in service and planning those service expansions. And to expand further, we first need to ensure that we have quality data to inform our services. One of the things that kept coming up, and this was when we conducted a market scan across neighbouring councils, there's serious inconsistency in SEC and throughout Queensland in terms of enclosure types and signage. Most larger councils, let alone the smaller councils, have up to 6 different enclosure types, all of those with a variation of signage depending on when they were first installed. You can see in the photo on the left there, that is one of the new enclosure types that's been installed by the Brisbane City Council. So you can see that they've gone for very clean kind of signage. There's not a lot of direction as to what goes into those bins, and they're starting to move to a grey colour for 2 reasons when it comes to waste. One of them is attrition. So grey fades at a slower rate than red does, and it doesn't turn into a pink colour, which doesn't currently exist in public place signage for bins. And the second is that when you look at the psychology behind how someone approaches a colour-based item, when the yellow stands out against the grey, the mental trigger is for recycling. So as a customer or a resident or visitor is approaching the bin set, they're more likely to think of recycling and then to sort whatever is in their hands into the correct bins than they are if they're attracted to the red colour and thinking with a waste mindset. Now, when we took into consideration neighbouring councils, we also had a look at some of the feedback from our recent community consultations. One of those, we did test what customers wanted from public place bins, and it was quite clear from them that they wanted both icons and words telling them what goes into each bin, and that's because we have quite a multicultural population and visitor cohort. We also spoke to city cleaning and parks to understand learnings for how we actually maintain those bins. And one of the learnings that came from that was the recommendation that there was just a single point of entry for waste, because it would not only reduce the area that needs to be cleaned, but it forces the customer to come to the front of the bin where the signage is most likely to be located. So we've got a better chance of the utilisation being correct. This is some of the draft signage that's in consideration at the moment, and one of the new enclosure types. I do believe that that's in Councillor Taylor's area.
Does the aperture at the top fit a pizza box?
Through you, Madam Chair, yes it does, and that was done on purpose.
Just so pleased about that. Pizza box. I don't know, I was like, what do you call it, like a hole? I could have called it a hole, I suppose. I was trying to think. My wife's a camera operator. I was using I inherited it from my very, very intelligent wife.
As you can see with the proposed signage, this is designed to just be scalable to wheelie bins or enclosure types. It's also for consideration down the line that we would look at how this might be implemented in developments, precincts, and for events as well. We've got the 4 key pieces which go into the 2 public place bins. As you can see from the last conversation that we had, there are now coffee cups indicated to go into the waste bin. And we have the words in both of those which tell you, if you don't understand what the icon means, what that piece of material is.
Councillor Bowden Lumsden just asked me the question about, does the pizza box go in the recycling or the waste? And I thought it went in the recycling.
Well, maybe it should go in the food. Scraps.
Am I right?
Food scraps.
Through
Or am I
Madam
wrong?
Chair.
Pizza boxes aren't recycling.
They are
greasy and cheesy.
I was going to say, when we get the food recycling, you can scrape the food
So,
cheese into one bin.
I finished a pizza box. I finished a pizza. The pizza is complete. There's no crusts in there. It's just an empty pizza box. Can I put it in recycling or not? Let's say it has one little bit of ham from my meat lovers.
No, lick the box clean before you put it in.
Councillor Castro is unreasonable demands.
Through you, Madam Chair, if it's a significant amount of food waste, we would ask the customer just to empty that out into the waste bin and then put the box into the recycling, but we certainly don't want you putting a box into a waste bin for a string of cheese.
For the sake of a string of cheese. Yeah. Great. Thank you for that. Very important additional information. It's good. I've got 5 pizza joints within 1 kilometre in Mudgeeraba. Seriously, the pizza box wastage is, and that all goes into general waste. I'm so excited about having some of these in Mudgeeraba just for the sake of the pizza shops.
My area, people just got fast food stuff all over the road.
It's just disgraceful.
Sorry about that. I mean, Rabina and Barsley's got the crime and you've got litter, and we don't have any of those problems, but we're concerned about the bins we do put them in.
Thank you.
Why does it have to be words or the logo?
Why can't it be both? So, like, it seems like there's a logical gap above the logo where those words could go.
Through you, Madam Chair, are you talking about option 1, Councillor?
Yeah, so why can't option 1 have the words above the recycling logo or the waste logo?
So it's due to how we use space and how the eyes read particular items. Option number 1 has the benefit that when you're approaching a bin, the words at the top are actually going to be more in your line of sight than the words at the bottom are going to be. If we put them together, the way that things will be grouped is actually sight prohibitive, even though that's not a technical term. Your eye won't look at things because it's too messy, it blurs a little bit, and therefore you don't intake the information.
Madam Chair, clearly the purpose of this presentation is to bring out ideas and preferences and thoughts. This is simply, at this stage, to, as I say, engage where we've got to, what we're thinking, and to gain your insights and thoughts and preferences, either today or you know, at next council, or when you go home and you're in the shower and you have a brilliant thought about what you're going to do with a pizza box. That's the purpose of today. It's not a decision. It's about, are you comfortable with the direction, comfortable with the thinking and preference for which way it looks.
There's a science that says it's smarter to have something in a different condition, if it's how people read it, and I'd go with that.
Mm. So would I take generally option one is
Option one.
preferable?
Yeah, I like option one. I think it's good.
I like option 2 because it makes it clear to people if they read, you know, this is where I put my coffee cup.
Just the size, does the option one has the words in it.
Same words, but they're at the top.
A bit smaller. A bit
That's pretty
closer to
big.
the eyes
I reckon option one's better. Do you want to vote on that?
Yeah, well, so no, option 1 wasn't clear. It's
So-
too small.
but-
Option 2.
I'll throw this in. Why did they put option 2 as on the bins as the one to put forward? Is that them subliminally trying to tell us that's the one to go for?
Well, it's called comms, mate.
That would
we
be a
would
core
not
comms.
attempt to
That'd be a core
manipulate
comms trick, wouldn't it?
I think I'm
committee.
misunderstanding.
Through you,
That's
Madam
what-
Chair,
Are you
we
asking
would
us which
never
one we like
attempt
or not
to do
really?
that.
You're asking us which one we like? Ah,
Up for discussion?
well, we probably should have a bit more order. Sorry,
No.
Chair.
Option 2.
It's also
I
worth
actually
noting.
like option 2 as well.
Yeah,
Why?
that wins. It's clear.
Personal preference, I guess. I'm looking at it and I think that that's clearer to me than option 1.
It's funny because I
I feel like,
think option one.
yeah, I feel like those words at the bottom, like no one's going to look at that part of the bin. Like while we're seeing it right now and it's at eye level, I reckon when you're walking up like this, it's going to be below your knee. You're not going to read down there.
Good point, councillor.
Whereas if it's at that bit, you're actually going to look, oh, paper I can put in here. Got it.
And the recycling symbol and waste thing, yeah,
You're my favourite chair.
everyone
Because of the-
recognises those symbols.
Collaborative dialogue.
Oh, yeah.
Well-
I think one has it all. Yeah.
We might have to put it to a vote.
Who's on committee?
I mean, this is not the vote, but I just want to get some idea of numbers, what everyone's thinking.
Can I check first?
The former Corp Comms expert, who obviously had some science behind her reasoning before, what would be the suggested approach?
Through you, Madam Chair, I would note that these are both draft, and we can take on all of your feedback and bring you back a third
God,
option.
she's so good at the
They're drafts, but that one's already on at Main Beach. And it's option 2.
Council
That's just been superimposed.
Oh,
Yeah.
it says,
I want to know, just for my own peace of mind, I want to know how many number 1?
oh, that's hopeless.
And the boss.
Do I get to vote?
That counts as an extra 2 votes.
Let's call that the officer recommendation. Let's call that, Mr. Heaton, let's call that the officer recommendation. Who would like to overturn the officer's recommendation?
Who's against recycling? That's
Yeah, who hates recycling? That's a good
So we can definitely make the text in option number 1 bigger, that's no problem, so that it's more
Well, that'd be a good
visible.
start.
And that should address what you like about option number 2.
Great.
Okay.
Well done. Thank you.
Yes. It's a good plan. It's a good plan.
So next steps for the project and the program in general are to conduct field audits of all public place bins, to record utilisation, condition, location and contamination. Those things will then inform several internal platforms as to how we represent those assets and how we make decisions moving forward. And we'll look at standardising the enclosure types as they attrition, as well as standardising the signage. It's worth noting that we did reach out to ComSec around whether or not there was any appetite for a Queensland-wide standardisation of signage before we went and invested any money in standardising our own. It's not of interest to them at this time.
Give us 10 years and we'll come back to you.
Quickly, see that image there? So the bin and the post is water and waste asset. know, who controls that? So why does that not have a concrete slab underneath it?
So through you, Madam Chair, the post is the only thing that's actually recorded in the city system as an asset. Wheelie bins are not considered assets per the city asset
I understand
register.
that part. Just there of who, to make it for consistency across areas, like I just don't understand why when we put bin posts in like that, we don't put a prefab concrete slab that has a hole in it that you literally drop over the post so that the bin sits on a concrete slab and it's nice and neat, easy to mow around, easy to whip snip around, and is much easier to clean and look tidy. I know, just, you know, that's a relative, anyway, it's just untidy. Yeah.
Look, I tend to agree
Sounds
with
like
you,
you're the poor cousin, Councillor Young. What's
Councillor Hamill, but these TNI assets in the public environment.
So I'll do a GBI next TNI to make them compulsory from now on. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done.
Was there any commentary around, we talked about expanding them, is there any opportunity for us to get a bin near my 5 pizza shops in Mudgeeraba? I only need like one of these recycling bins. Or maybe
We can
2.
definitely, through you, Madam Chair, take that on note. We are looking at what it would take to do Western Corridor trials down the line, not for this budget year, but in the future.
Right.
And then that would inform a citywide expansion.
So if there was an opportunity for that to be accelerated even through a local area works program, I really only have one village and it's right on the M1, and effectively I'd suggest the southern JJ Richards trucks probably just drive past it. And again, that 5 pizza shop pieces, I'm just wasting a hell of a lot of cardboard. And that proximity of takeaway outlets is, to me, where the waste kind of happens in places. That takeaway food piece is, I think, a generator of waste in the public places than perhaps, and that's obviously why that's the great take up in beaches and stuff. But our little Mudgeeraba village, like from the exit 79 to the bottom of the village, I've got 5, maybe 6 pizza places of varying, up from gourmet top of the line down to Domino's. You know.
Through you, Madam Chair, I think we can absolutely look at that as part of the trial and
We
expansion.
have mentioned it before too in the Western Corridor.
We love Italian food.
Paid sponsored ad for pizza places in Mudgeeraba.
Councillor
Look,
Young,
I'm
you've
happy
got your hand
to
up.
elaborate if you'd like further
the
information,
viewers,
Councillor Castria. I'm very happy
For the
to
viewers watching
elaborate.
in, you want a good pizza?
I think
Lenny.
I've got the floor.
Lenny,
Councillor Young has the floor.
Pizza capers. Sorry.
No, now we're going
Chair, when we last discussed this public place recycling, we were invited to nominate places where we would like to see it expanded to, and I duly wrote to Josh Evans on the 11th of May and suggested I'd like to nominate Country Paradise Parklands for inclusion in the city-led public place recycling scheme. Thanks for your consideration. And the response was, yes, well, thanks for the nomination. We'll report back to committee within the next 3 months. That's it.
Just here to report to you now.
It's been installed today.
Through you, Madam Chair, we did take into account the councillors' submissions, and that was what I was referring to when I referenced the planning for a Western Corridor trial. That would be yourself, Councillor Tozer, and likely something in Councillor Hamill's area. Sorry, not Councillor Hamill, Councillor Vorster. However, planning for that certainly... Through you, Madam Chair, my apology.
So the deep north is now part of the deep south. So I missed out at Country Paradise, is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is that planning for that trial isn't looking like it's going to occur in this budget year. We would look at that for the 24-25 budget year, so that we have time, based on the data and analysis of the field audits, to make sure that we're putting those in the right spaces.
Of course. Can I just ask 2 other things? At some events at Country Paradise, the organisers pay private companies a premium for them to undertake recycling on the spot. It's great because they educate people, there's a real engagement with people. They say, oh yeah, you put this one in here, and then that becomes food for worms and whatever, and it's informative, it's fun, and it's highly successful. But it does come at a cost instead of just the typical bin hire. And I wonder if we might look at some kind of consideration of subsidising where an event organiser goes to that effort. If we can put that in someone's list of things to think of. And secondly, we've got this Pacific Air Show only a week or so away, and they're expecting 150,000 people to flock to our shores, and that would have been a perfect opportunity to have a big public place recycling rollout, I think. It's probably obviously a bit late now to be contemplating a new, but I wonder why that sort of thing isn't a necessary proviso. Not sure if that's a question or a...
I think that's probably already will be done through the event organiser.
Right.
Because I know major events do insist on it, a lot of the bigger events that we have down in Cooley. So I'd be very surprised if that's not already up and running.
It's a requirement of
Otherwise,
events.
I'll be dumping all my pizza boxes.
You are welcome down in Mudgebar and eat pizza anytime you like, Councillor. You know we have
I'll be eating the pizza at the
trade
fair
agreement.
show and bring the boxes out to your
Narang folk are always welcome down in Mudgebar.
And there's a number of events that, ban plastic water bottles and other, disposable waste as well. And the events team, I think, you can correct me if I'm wrong, guys, are very focused on...
The Bleach Festival is very big on that as well. Most of the events that I go to now have actually all got on top of that sort of stuff.
Yep.
Thanks, Chair.
So through you, Madam Chair, to the first point, Councillor Young will take that on note. We are looking to meet with major events once Bleach is done to discuss their sustainability committee. And we have received confirmation already that the air show has a recycling service available at it.
Full points, thanks.
Nothing further?
Yep, thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks, Christy.
Yes, and moved by Councillor Young, seconded by Councillor McDonald. All those in favour? That's carried. Any GB? We do. It's the least viewed, as I know. Shut up. Have you got a GB item, Councillor? No GB items. Declare the meeting closed at 3:21. Thank you.